Hi, welcome to my video on the Naohiro, and I hope I got that right, Selfie Stick Tripod. Picked up this Selfie Stick Tripod on Amazon UK for $8.95. When you buy the selfie stick, it comes in a box like so. Now this particular selfie stick tripod comes under several different name companies, including Blitzwolf does a version of this selfie stick tripod, but the model number of this, for even throughout these different companies, is still the K07 selfie stick tripod. This particular selfie stick has a compact size. From when it's folded from the top to the bottom of the selfie stick is 8 inches in length. It has a total construction build of pure plastic. It's just plastic all around. The only thing that is metal of this particular selfie stick is the actual stem itself. Start off with the clamp at the top first. So we'll fold out the clamp, which folds down quite flat to the actual body of the selfie stick. And it has this nice clicking sound, so you can get it into any angle. And it has a 120-degree tilt with this particular phone clamp mount on the top of the selfie stick. It's made of a plastic construction which has these nice foldable arms or clamp, nice foldable clamp on the arms on this clamp, sorry, tongue-tied today folks, which have these nice rubber grips bottom and top, which are in a light grey finish. It's spring loaded, so as you can hear, there's this nice squeaky spring, and it can take up to any size phone, from your small phones, from your minis, all the way up to your pluses and XL phones, and your notes can fit into this clamp. Clamp has this kind of webbing in there to give it extra strength, and this kind of diamond pattern on the back just to give it a bit of decoration. And it comes down to this plastic arm which comes into this mount here, which I have to say folks, there is a screw and nut in this which is covered by these caps on either side, and you cannot get to the screw. These caps are glued in, so which is a bit of a shame, because after a while this will wear down, and the only thing that is practically holding this into shape is the little notches, but after a while that will wear down and you might lose the actual placement of this particular clamp. Come down to the mount here, which is made out of plastic, and the mount has a kind of lip to it which has these two prongs. When lifted, have these two prongs which lock into place at the top of the selfie stick here of the handle. That is to keep the shutter button, which sits in its own little recess on the handle of the selfie stick, from sliding out. So if you wish to retrieve the shutter button, you simply lift up the selfie stick mount and simply slide out, and that will slide right out. And I have to say, this is one of the smallest shutter buttons I've ever come across. Now this particular shutter button is not rechargeable. It relies on a CR1632 coin cell battery, which is really like a thumbnail, fingernail size battery that goes in here. Now Naohiro, I hope I got that right, doesn't supply you with a spare one. You do not get that in the box. You do get a nice instruction leaflet, but you don't get a spare battery. Come to the handle stroke legs of the selfie stick, which is made out of plastic, along with the body here is made out of plastic. And what is a shame with this selfie stick is, and this is why I said that this selfie stick, some companies build off of this selfie stick, this particular one does not have any kind of grip whatsoever. It is absolutely smooth. So if you're somebody with sweaty palms, this is going to feel like a bar of soap. So we'll open it up because it makes the legs as well, and as you can see, 3-leg design, kind of locking system on the ends of these legs here to lock it into place. We do not have any rubber whatsoever. As you can see on the bottom of this, it's just the plastic continuing on. So there's no rubber for grip on the bottom of these legs. And there is no webbing within inside these legs to give it adequate strength. This is how the Naohiro, I'm just gonna call it the selfie stick, the word I cannot pronounce. This is how it looks when it's fully extended out. I've obviously got the phone clamp at an angle, but this is how it looks when it's fully extended out. Now they claim when you straighten this totally out, they claim from the top of the selfie stick to the bottom of the selfie stick, it is 27.6 inches in length. But as you know, on my channel, I do not go by that because obviously you're losing, and there it goes, you're losing inches off for the handle and you're losing inches off for the mount at the top. So to me, the actual extension length is this stem itself. And from the top of the handle to the bottom of the mount, it is 16.1 inches it extends out to. Now I'm going to do the wobble test on this selfie stick tripod. And I have to say, even though it's the car aerial type selfie stick tripod, this seems to be, the actual stem seems to be okay. The only thing that seems kind of loose when shaking this and a bit wobbly, and bear in mind, is the top here. It actually feels like it's gonna come off. So from here onwards, feels like it's gonna separate from the actual stem, and that is quite bad. Stem comes out, as I said before, the car aerial, the old-fashioned car aerial type. So there's no twist lock or mechanisms or locking mechanisms between each section, and it comes out in 5 sections. It's made of this kind of stainless steel, and I have to say, even though, as I said, you can get this kind of particular selfie stick as generic across the board of other manufacturers, this particular one does not smell. And the reason why I'm saying that is, normally with other ones, especially at that particular price, at this particular price, and it's the car aerial type, this particular stem has a kind of metal smell to it. This does not have that kind of smell. Also, the sections of this has only one seam, which is a bit of a negative. It would have been better if it had 2 seams, but at the same time, as I'm saying, it's a bit of a negative to have that. When doing the wobble test, this stem didn't feel like it was going to bend or break. If anything, it was the top here. Now, how they fasten the mount to the stem, I really do not like. It's a kind of basically glue and then puncture or pinch or indentation, which is probably difficult to pick up on the camera. As you can see, there's probably 2 dots there where they make an indentation, and there's 2 dots on that side where they make the indentation, and that is to keep the mount. So the mount has a kind of small plastic stem they place into the last stem of the selfie stick, and they either glue it or just simply make these 4 indentations to keep this stem in place. And even when I'm talking to you now, there is a bit of a wobble to it when it comes to this section. This is how the selfie stick tripod looks when it's fully extended with the legs out. I have to say, as I said before, these legs do not have a kind of webbing in between, and they definitely do not have any rubber on the bottom of these legs to give it any grip. But the stem, and I'll try and get that into shot, I hope that's in shot, but the stem here does come down literally to about 1/4 of an inch off, or less than 1/4 of an inch off from the tabletop. So if you was to place this outside, and obviously the ground is not even, this can act as a 4th leg, the stem. But personally, I think because of the construction of the stem, which is the old car aerial type, this makes this stem really light. It's not, as I said to you, made out of stainless steel. It's aluminium that it's made out of. So that's my correction, folks. This is a very light selfie stick, and whatever phone you place on top of this for outside, it only takes a slight breeze, and my guess is that this will fall right over because the actual footprint is very, very narrow at the very bottom. So for me, this is an indoor selfie stick, only to be used on worktops and desks if you're going to have it fully extended out. When it comes to pairing the Bluetooth shutter remote to your mobile phone for this selfie stick, whether it's a iOS phone or an Android phone, you have to go to settings, go to Bluetooth. For Android users, obviously you gotta make your phone, when you go to Bluetooth, make your phone discoverable so it can see, the Bluetooth can see this remote. When you get the remote, you simply press the gold button here. On other versions, that button may be in black, and right next to it is, and it's hard to pick it up on the camera, folks, but there is a little LED next to it which flashes in blue. So what you do is you keep your finger down on the shutter button itself. That little LED will flash in blue. It will come up on your phone as selfie-com. Once it comes up as selfie-com, you touch the word selfie-com. It will then ask to pair. You do not have to place any numbers nor letter sequence in there to pair it. Just press yes or pair button, and as you press that, then it's connected. Now let's see if the Bluetooth button actually makes a sound on the phone, because some Bluetooth buttons don't do that. It actually mutes the sound of the shutter. So on the phone itself, so we're going to press the button and let's see if we can hear a sound. And yes, there is a sound of the shutter button, and we'll do that for the video. Let's see if it mutes the sound. And it doesn't mute the sound. It's very faint, but it doesn't mute the sound whatsoever. Now we come to the part of the video where I give my 2 pence worth, and I'm not going to say the name because I know I'm going to mess it up, of this particular selfie stick. And I'll start off with the negatives first. The main negative about this selfie stick is the plastic construction of this selfie stick. It does feel less than the $8.95 that Amazon is selling this for. This feels more of a £6 selfie stick. It does feel very cheap, but in saying that, when it comes to the actual stem, the stem does feel quite good, even though it's the old-fashioned car aerial type. And as I says, this particular selfie stick is not worth placing outside when it's fully extended. It's quite a light selfie stick, very light. So them are the negatives towards that selfie stick. Another negative has to be with this particular selfie stick, has to be the legs of this selfie stick. They're not flimsy, but they do not have any kind of webbing construction in there to give it extra strength, and they do not have any rubber on the base of these legs to give it any extra grip, and it does not have any kind of dimpling or finish to the actual legs or handle of this selfie stick. It is very, very smooth. Another negative about this selfie stick has to be with the top here, with the mount here, not so much the actual phone clamp, but the actual mount at the top here, because it uses a kind of indentation onto the selfie stick and glue. When I did the wobble test, this did feel like it was going to come off. Now it could be just this particular one that I bought, and the rest of them may feel okay, but it does have a kind of feeling that it wants to separate from the actual stem of the selfie stick. The negatives I'm going to quickly run through before I go into the positives. One has to be this shutter button. Even though it's a nice small shutter button, but to some people this size of a shutter button, which is just an inch long, you may lose this because it's really small. The batteries that it takes is a CR1632, and I don't think they're that common than the actual coin cell batteries. So that's something to be aware of. And also, which I haven't showed you on the video, when you're going to replace this battery, be careful not to lose the shutter button, because it needs to be pried open, this shutter button, to get to the battery. And when you pry it open, that shutter button is loose. So be aware of that. It's not placed into the body of this at all. It is loose, so you might lose that. Now for the positives. The first positive has to be the compact size of this selfie stick. It is very compact in length, so it's suitable for bags and pockets with this particular selfie stick. I do like how the actual mount or phone clamp flattens right down to the actual selfie stick with this nice flat back. And I do like the actual construction, how the selfie stick, phone clamp is made, how it's nice, thin, nice and flat, and the arms or clamp of the selfie stick folds out. Stem of the selfie stick, I give that a positive, because even though it's this nice aluminium car aerial type stem that relies on friction to keep it in place, and it's not twist locking or there's no locking mechanisms, but and it only has one seam, it still is it's one of the strongest, not the strongest, but one of the strongest selfie stick stems I've come across in this particular form. This is my overall conclusion on the Naohiro, and I bet you I got that word wrong. I know I have. This is a cheap lose it and forget it selfie stick. And what do I mean by that? If you're going on holiday and you need a selfie stick, but if you lose it or forget it or break it, you're not breaking the bank, you're not losing a lot of money. If you're looking for a selfie stick just to give to the kids that is not complex for them to use, and also to pair up the Bluetooth shutter button with it, then this is the selfie stick to have. Now, if you happen to have this particular selfie stick, please leave your comments down in the comment section, because your opinions are different to my opinions, and I haven't said that statement in a while. Thanks for watching the video. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like it, give it a thumbs down. I perfectly understand my videos can be long, but I like to go into detail on the item or the product, so when you get it, you know what to expect. Please subscribe to my channel if you like the channel. I'll be grateful for that, and I'll see you next time.